One, boom, we are live. All right, what's up, party people? I got a good Facebook friend of mine. We'll call that right now. Hopefully, the relationship gets better and better. But I got Scott Schnitzer on today. So, just a little bit of background on Scott. He was awarded the Agency Owner Impact Award. I think I've got mine right there from Symmetry. So, congratulations on that, dude. And he has a flawless beard, kind of like mine. So he hit agency owner in 6 months after going full time with Symmetry. Kudos on that as well. That's a hard milestone for people to hit. He officially placed $1 million. Can you imagine if that was you watching this? Can you imagine if that was you hitting your first million placed in their first year as agency owner? So last September to this September, he made 100,000 deposits in his first 9 months in the business off of his own pen. So there's already the 1%ers. Welcome to the club. And he's currently at $210,000 in personal production for the calendar year. That's exciting, dude. So how are you?
I'm good. It's hard to you ask me to send you some accolades and I'm like, it's hard to talk about myself. We've been so busy working and building this thing. It's good to take like a 30-second step back and realize what's happened over the last year, because a lot can happen in a 1 year period of time. And I'm sure you know that is the truth, Mason.
Yeah, absolutely. With my time in this industry. And I do that not just for selfish reasons for people to brag, but it's nice to do a personal inventory every once in a while and see what people have actually For me, it's selfish because I'm the one who gets people to realize to take a step back, zoom out the camera lens of their life and see what they've accomplished. And then they have me to thank for that. So it is selfish for me, but I think it's cool for people because humans need to realize how fucking awesome they are. We're temporarily immortal, and I think we should relish under that fact for as long as we can before we end up as pictures on the wall and people are missing us for a couple of weeks and go back to their normal lives.
Yeah, man. I was actually out for a run a couple weeks ago, and I ran by this cemetery and it just shook me. There's a balloon hanging from this grave and it just said happy birthday. And it shook me to my core, Mason, because I'm like, man, how many birthdays do we actually have left to go after our goals, to kiss on our loved ones, to make the memories that we want to make, to leave an impact here? It's just like, how many birthdays do you actually have left, man? It's like, you got to go after it. You got to go after it.
One of the biggest things that's got me kind of not in a twist in life right now, but I'm starting to want children, mainly sons. I don't know if I want a daughter right now.
If you figure out how to choose that, you let
there's a gene sequence editing company called CRISPR where they can do like DNA editing or implant DNA or sequences into embryos and fetuses and stuff like that. And it's like, if I can give my kid the best chance at survival, like if I can implant the DNA of like an NBA player into my kid, I'm gonna fucking do it no matter how much money it costs.
Take the NBA jumps, take the speed of a 100-mile or a 100-meter race or whatever you want to do, mix it all together. Hey, just first and foremost, for anyone who's watching, Mason's his level of knowledge is up here. I'm like way down here. So if I get lost in the woods along the way, just try to help find me.
Oh, don't put yourself down like that. We're all good at different things, man. So, but yeah, I'm starting to really want a kid. And then I saw some facts, and it's like you spend 97% of time with your children by the time they are 16. That's nuts to me. It's like I have 16 solid years before I only have 3% left from 16 to the day that they pass or the day that I pass. I don't think kids should have to I don't think parents should have to bury their kids. It goes against the natural cycle of life, but it happens.
You know what that helps me realize, Mason? It's like you want to do your job and your duty as a parent during those first 16 years to make an impact on them so that they want to come back to you after those 16 years, that they want to be your friend, that they want to come to you for advice. That's just really the impact that you want to have to make on your kids. And, for me, my dad's one of my best buds. He was the best man in my wedding, and he did a really good job. It's like a lot of people, they can't say the same thing. They want to go the opposite direction once they get out of the house. So I think that's really important to point out, Mason.
Absolutely. And it's like my dad was a superhero to me, and I barely ever saw him, but he always had good stories to tell. But he wasn't changing my diapers, he wasn't doing mundane stuff. It's my personal belief. It's like, I don't think I should spend every waking second with my kids because they only want to spend like an hour or two with you. Then they want to go like play in the dirt or play with their toys. It's more about the quality of time rather than the quantity of time. So I
Mm,
think I know a lot of parents will disagree with me. They want to spend every waking moment with their babies, especially the mothers.
yeah.
But it's like that's their duty.
Yeah. Hey, well, for all the parents watching, send us advice. I'm about to have my first one next month, Mason. So we got a little baby on the way. And
Congratulations, man. I
take
think
all
kids
the
are the
advice
biggest
you can get
blessing.
for all the parents watching. Feel free.
But it's like I've worked with so many parents in like personal coaching stuff out just even outside of insurance, but most of my clients are insurance agents. And it's like, how do I manage my time with my kids and all this? It's like if you haven't done anything worth doing, your kids they're going to grow up not to want to take advice from you.
Mhm.
They want their parents to be a superhero. They want their parents to have real life experience, not just someone who changed their diapers and can't and gives them shit advice.
You
I
know
love
what? It's all about the quality of time. You just said it right there. I think the best gift that we could give our kids, and this is like unsolicited advice for anyone, best gift you can give your kids is to go chase your own dreams. Even if that means that you're around less, the quality of time is important. What you do with your time to build anything, to build a life of significance, to build a life of time and freedom, whatever it is. If you go and accomplish your dreams, most things that kids do are caught, not taught. You can't sit down at the kitchen table and teach them everything that they need to learn. They're going to watch you. They're going to watch how you move.
correct.
They're going to watch everything. So,
Your kids, your students will do what you do, not what you tell them to do. When you're 0 to 7, your brain isn't even developed. So you take things into your forming conscious mind uncritically. So they just do whatever is in their environment. And the reason what you said is so important is because it gives the kid belief and exposure.
mm,
And it sets standards for them to have a great life. But if you're fucking off and not doing anything with your time, I think us men are here to create.
mm,
And if we don't, we're not respected and we're not loved.
mm.
And I mean, people say, "Well, my mom will always love me." If you're some 400-pound dude smoking weed, living in your mom's basement, playing video games all day, I guarantee you, by the time you're in your mid-20s, she's going to call you a fuck up and tell you to get out of the house. She doesn't love you anymore. It is conditional. It is conditional, regardless of what you want to hear. But that's how hard it is to be a man. And I'm sure you've got your own experiences with that. So, and
Absolutely.
while we're talking about how hard it is to be a man, let's go into how hard it is to be an agent.
Yeah.
So, what do you think has helped? And let's give some context around this first. Like, what are some of the struggles that you've had to go through as an agent to hit the agency owner, get your first million in like issue paid production in a year? Talk to
Yeah.
me about that.
Man, it's like the same things you go through working towards a fitness goal. It's the same thing you go through working towards a solid relationship at home. Things come up, they hurt. You have two choices, whether to keep going or to give up, right? And that happens when you're becoming a great agent, right? You're on your path to learning to be better with a skill set. You're on your path to learning to be better as a leader if you're growing an agency. There's a lot of things involved, and when those speed bumps come up, when those storms happen, you got two decisions really. One, you take it like a champ and you move forward. You seek coaching, you associate yourself with the right people, but also you got to have that internal fortitude to just move forward. And so I think like becoming a good agent, becoming a good agency owner, that's something that I am striving to be. And things have come up a lot over the last year. Like just in the last month, like we just moved from Louisiana to Buffalo. We're having a kid next month. We just finished a remodel. There's so many things going on. We're still pressing on in our business in such an awesome way. Our team's still getting some huge wins, but like there's been speed bumps along the way. We've had some internal difficulties. So Mason, I think it's just simply this. You gotta push forward. You can't quit. The people who do quit, they won't make it. It's just like the simple math.
Absolutely. I think the people wishing for an easy life, you're going to regret it at the end because you can either choose to do hard things now and become someone who is good-hearted and God-fearing and loving as possible, or you can wish for an easy life and you can clock in and out, go play your video games, go watch your prawn videos, and live a miserable life and die.
Yeah.
And if that's your agenda, I think you're dishonoring the people who brought you here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about the things that maybe, stop someone from winning. The things that come up that'll get in your way of winning. I want to talk about a few of those things. I think number one, people just quit too soon, Mason. They just give up too soon.
What's the time frame that you think they quit in?
It's whatever goal you're going towards. I mean, if you want to be an agency owner and you're lacking depth perception, things can happen quickly in a 6-month period of time.
Explain that, because this is one of my favorite things in the world that people people hear mindset and perspective, but they glance right over it. They think it's all in the skills, but 80% of your success in this business, any business, is all mental.
Yeah, you got to have depth perception. You got to have the ability to see the end result in mind and keep it in mind on a daily basis. It's hard to scope back like that when you've got appointments here and there and you've got coaching sessions and you've got things that you need to learn, skills that you need to add. Like, it's hard to have depth perception. So you have to keep the end result in mind. People just give up too soon, whether it's they want to be a $100,000 producer or they want to run a massive agency. They're going to give up too soon. The majority of people. And it's because they lack that depth perception. They didn't keep the end result in mind on a daily basis. It's just one of those core values you got to keep right in front of your face. We have whiteboards, we have vision boards, whatever you want to call them. That stuff actually does matter, but it also matters to keep running your feet while you're doing that. So if you stop too soon, those visions will never come into fruition. Those things will never happen for you. So I think people just give up too easy, Mason. That's just from my perspective. Number two, and you just said it takes mental toughness. Things are going to come up.
What's an tell me a story of something that's happened in you and your wife's life, or maybe just yours. Like, what is something that has happened to you guys that's been extremely difficult? And like, tell a story for the audience to kind of understand the emotional, like, aha moment that you had to learn for what you're talking about.
Yeah, we were pushing towards, this was like 2 weeks. I'll just give you a recent one. This was like 2 weeks ago. We were pushing towards a promotion last month. We're on our run to 130. I'm sure for you in the IMO world, you know what we're talking about here. We're on a run to 130. And we had a qualifying month to hit 115 last month. And towards the end of the month, things started getting tough. I just felt like when you feel a storm coming, it's like when people say it rains, it pours. It's so true. We woke up one morning and we had the opportunity to speak on Symmetry's national call. So we had that at like noon. I wake up, my day starts. I get a text that my sister got in a car accident. The person doesn't have insurance. We're dealing with that. I got a call from our accountant, Mason, that our entire accounting firm shut down and filed bankruptcy. And this is like several days before business taxes were due and maybe a week before personal taxes were due. Anyways, nonetheless, they shut down and filed bankruptcy and owed us a ton of money at the time. Things got chaotic that morning. We were pushing for a goal, right? We had this national call that we were preparing for. Like, that's just one glimpse inside of a morning in the Schnitzer house. Those things are going to happen all the time. And I thank my wife for this. She started speaking life into the situation right away, but we got through it. We had a great day. We hit our goal that month. Like, this is just a normal day. And you have to see those things. When you have big problems in your life, you got to get bigger as a person. They become smaller problems. So you got to grow yourself, that mental toughness. I'm a marathon runner, ultra marathon runner, Mason. I didn't know if you knew that.
I see you running miles I used to go run like 5 miles a day, but I was like, I think I just want to lift weights now.
I love lifting weights, but the running was so hard. And when you get to like a 20 or 30 mile distance, things start playing with your mind. It just starts eating away at you. You're like, you can take a turn off the road. You can call for a ride home. You can do anything you want to, but
it's so easy to give up.
Easy to give up. Yeah.
There was a night I could not go to sleep and I was just sitting there. It was like, it was raining outside. I was like, I can't sleep. I was like, what are my options? Stay up. I can go watch a movie. I can play some video games. I can call this girl over here. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go for a run. I ran for like 26 hours straight. And I was like, I need to push myself. And like, I don't know what the hell came over me right then and there,
Yeah,
but it was like, I need to struggle and I need to suffer right now. Like,
you wanted to break yourself off. I think people forget to do that when they get successful, and it creates a level of comfortability.
yeah,
And
they
so
get
I commend
complacent,
you
but I
for
was
that.
like, I need to fucking suffer. It's like, I need to teach myself a lesson and quit being a little bitch right now. It's like, okay, you can't go to sleep. I'll give you a reason to be tired. I went
Yep.
and ran 24 hours, just left my phone. I called my brother, I sent him a text, said like, "Hey, come look at the dogs for a little bit, feed them," and I just took off. And it was like, I think I got like 60 miles.
Gosh, man, that's awesome.
But like after about 10, I couldn't even feel my legs. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, perfect, we're good.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
just kept
I
going.
actually love that about you. That's super awesome. And I know that we're cut from the same cloth when I hear things like that, because you've had a level of success in your business, and like, for anyone who's listening to this who's caught a little level of success, there are levels to this game. You got to put hard things in your calendar if life feels easy for you right now. You have to. It's important. It's super
Yeah,
important.
there's no light without dark. I think there's a lot of gray in the world. It's not this way or this way. I think that's one of the most dangerous perspectives to have is things have to be A or B because there's a
Yeah.
C up above that. It's called perceptual positions is what I call it.
Yeah.
And you mentioned something a while ago that I think is so unique. You said that your wife breathed life into the situation. This is one of my favorite things about women is they have the most unique ability to bring life
Mm,
into this world. Kids, like I said, kids are a blessing and a miracle. But it's like, how cool is it that you're one of the lucky few who has a wife worth keeping around? Because
yeah.
I've looked at your Facebook and kind of done my stalk and seen how you guys converse with one another, and it's very hard to find women with good blueprints like that,
Mm, mm.
especially with societal standards of today telling women they can go do whatever they want. And I think it's a
Man,
very
I
dangerous
knew
life
she was
path for them.
I knew she was my wife, and thank you so, dude. I received that, and Kate's gonna watch this because she's super proud that I do
Hello,
things.
Kate. You're one of the good few. So you're lucky because you got Scott. So
Oh man, we're both lucky. Actually, I knew I was gonna marry her the weekend I met her, and I tell a lot of my friends this, are like in the dating world. I'm like, you're gonna know, you're gonna drop all the BS, you're gonna drop all the games, and you're gonna go after what you want, because it's such an important decision, and it's like we're quicker to make decisions in our business, or slower to make decisions in our business than we are with the loved ones that we have. I see people date for like 6, 7, 8 years, and I'm like, man, you should know by now. But anyways, I digress. I'm just so blessed. She's a winner, and that's a huge part of the success of this agency. She's a co-owner. She's my business partner. She's everything. So, anyways, won't go too far into that. I'll get emotional. I'm called Sappy Scott for a reason to her. I want to talk about number 3, and I'm going to kind of graze right over it. Reasons why people don't succeed, why they end up giving up. Number 3 is they can't handle rejection, but I really want to talk about number 4, because I know this means a lot to you, Mason. People cannot handle coaching. Okay. They don't seek coaching. And if they do, they don't implement it because they think they have it all figured out. That's another reason why people don't make it in this industry, is because even if they do seek coaching, sometimes they don't implement it. One of the parts about finding your coach, once you found your person, you have to take their advice and you have to implement it. It's a lot of it's a monkey see, monkey do type of business. Okay. You got to find someone that has the fruit that you're looking for, and you got to take their coaching. You got to take it to heart. So I think, people want to do things their own way, Mason. That's why they end up failing here. Um, and then it's so funny you brought up Kate in this situation. My number 5 reason why people don't make it here is you got to have your spousal support. You got to have a support system. And a lot of times people are running after this massive goal in their office, and they have no support outside this door.
absolutely not. People think I hate women by the way that I fucking talk, but it's like society tells them to go chase a career and OnlyFans and all this bullshit, and that's not what makes women happen biologically. They are social creatures who love the family unit. They want a man who is dominant, who has fucking guts, worthy of submitting to, who loves God, and he's got a good heart and he doesn't put up with bullshit. They do not respect men they can walk all over. And it's like most men are sleeping today. Most men are sleeping today because they want to avoid a hard life, or they grew up being taught it's okay to go for your 7th place trophy and cry if you don't fucking get it. And it's such a flawed mindset.
Well,
It's such a flawed mindset.
I think it
So
starts
girls
with
are
us.
having to step up.
I take ownership for all that. I think it starts with us. I think it starts with the level that we carry ourselves to. I think it starts with us actually going out and doing something and earning that respect. It's not just given without you earning it. You know, respect from your wife and belief outside this wall. I'm going to say that a lot. Belief outside this wall starts with what you do every day as a person. It starts with your morning routine. It starts with the way that you talk to them. A lot of guys are out there just wandering in the wrong direction. Guys, open up your Instagrams, go to your Discover page. That'll tell you a lot about your life right now. Okay. Go pull it out. Go look at your Discover page. Would you want your wife to go look through
I
that?
already know 3 years ago, just girls in bikinis, half naked. I know what I was doing years ago, and
Yeah,
that's what
absolutely.
99% of most dudes do. It's like they spend their whole life just trying to get back in the thing they came out of.
Yeah. Yeah. And like go grab that Discover page, go show your wife and see if she respects what you're doing. Right. Cause it's a daily thing. It's a minute by minute thing. Earning that, carrying that belief system in your household is a minute by minute. You have so many decisions throughout your day. You just got to make the right ones long enough. Okay. Stack those right decisions and not the wrong ones.
And it's
So it's so huge.
I don't even want to scare people because even having a shitty decision today, like a shitty plan today, is better than waiting for a perfect plan tomorrow. Do not put things off. Just start getting small wins, and those will compound.
Yeah. It's a
They will
snowball effect.
compound.
Yeah.
But back to the coaching thing you said, like
Yeah.
it blows my fucking mind.
I knew this one was going to be good for you. I knew this one was going to be good.
Well, it's such a big thing, and I live in the world of paradoxes,
Yep.
and it confuses people when I say this. I have ambition, but I'm not an ambitious person.
Mm.
I have ambition, but I'm not an ambitious person. So I'm chasing like passion projects. I've made my money, I've lost a lot of money, and I've made it back. But it's like I'll do things because of God and the fruits that it's going to bear my life later and the amount of people it's going to. This is why I love like Operation Underground Railroad. Something I'm very passionate about is if I could have a full-time day job hunting pedos, I would.
Me too.
If I could have a full-time job doing that, I absolutely would. And I donate very large sums of money to Operation Underground Road. I don't say that to brag, but it's like people think I'm a horrible person because I say the F word, whatever. Fuck off. Don't give a shit. But with coaching, I worked with so many people for free just to try to help them out, and they don't value it because they have no skin in the game. And now that I charge very large sums of money to work with me one-on-one, it's like they'll pay all this money, they'll go into debt, or they already were in debt because they bought into someone else's bullshit because they had a jet and a Ferrari and a Lamborghini and all this shit. It's like you bought into hype and you get what you pay for. You can buy nice or you can buy twice.
Yeah.
But they just get hurt and rejected and hurt and rejected and nothing works. And then they bring that same baggage over to me. And it's
you gotta trust first. I mean, you have to trust. Trust is like the definition of that is like actually trust. I don't know what the definition is in the dictionary, but you have to do that. But also like if the person does not have the fruit that you want in your life, you're chasing the wrong type of coach. You know, you're chasing the absolute wrong type of coach. So I think coaching's so important, but it's glazed over because a lot of people sit on coaching calls throughout their week and then they go back to their desk and they don't implement it. And it's like, you got to receive and then implement. It's like this type of process. I'm receiving and then I'm implementing. So I just want to encourage anyone, if you find that coach, you find someone like Mason that's rooting for you in your corner, you got to implement the strategies that they're giving you or the mindset that they're giving you.
Well, it's like I was charging $16,000 for one-on-one coaching for 6 months, and then I'm doing one-on-one stuff now for around $32,000. But it's like I opened up a free program for the first month for everyone to come in, learn the business model. It was a free trial for 30 days and then $97 a month. And people are like making enough money to pay for years of that. But it's like I've helped. I won't name drop because this person is one of the most ungrateful little bastards I've ever met. And that's how people normally are. It's like we remember what we do, but we very rarely remember what others do for us. It's like, I remember the last time I took out the trash. Do I remember the last time one of my girls did something? No. So we get ungrateful, but they remember the last time they did something. So it's like, I help this young kid do 450 something $1,000 his first year. And it's like, well, I don't use your stuff anymore. It's like, I gave you the whole perspective and all the skill sets you needed to stack on top. What do you mean? You don't shit on your math teacher once you learn algebra.
Yeah. I could go off, man.
People try to learn things out of sequence and solve problems at the wrong. It's like doing the right thing at the wrong time is still doing the wrong fucking thing.
I'm harvesting Mason. I'm harvesting seeds right now that my wrestling coach taught me in high school. Like, he may not be the best business coach for me right now, but I would never go crap on the philosophies that he taught. He actually taught me so much in life. It's so crazy.
All right, it's the Bruce Lee thing. I'm going to take what's useful and reject what is useless.
Yeah,
I'm going to put it back on the shelf for someone else to grab. Maybe it helps them on their journey of life.
So anyways, a lot of you, maybe you have failed, maybe you will fail because of this aspect. I think it's so important. You got to find a good coach. I've got another one for you. People come from a 40, 50-hour career. They come here into the insurance industry. They're working for themselves, right? A lot of us are 1099.
I'm going to put in 10 hours and get rich.
I'm going to put 4 hours a week in and I'm going to make it here. Dude, you already knew what I was going to say. It's so crazy. I see so many people come from just busting their butts 40, 50 hours a week to move up a corporate chain. And then they want to come here and give this opportunity 4 or 5 hours a week to see if it's worth it to quit their main job. They're going to come here for a couple months, and I'll tell you what they're going to do. They're going to go back and sit in an office for another 15, 20, 25 years because it didn't work here in 2 months. That's the reason why people fail in this industry. It's huge. I see it every single day, unfortunately.
Well, there's 2 reasons for that. One is the time horizon. So they're not giving themselves enough time horizon and a long enough time frame for them to suck to actually be great at this. And second is false expectations, because this industry is full of fucking vultures. You have people that just sit down and say, you know what? I'm just going to recruit every single I'm going to throw as many people at this problem that I can, and the cream will rise to the top. I cannot stand that, because one, as an agency owner, you're overburdened by people you know are not meant to be entrepreneurs. So you're just adding stress to your own plate because of false expectations that were given to you by your upline. So I see why people call it a pyramid scheme and a scam. Scott, do you know what a scam is?
Give me the definition. I have an idea.
People who think selling life insurance is a scam, it are people who are still confused about money. That is what a scam is. You're still confused about money.
Yeah, you just, and like, maybe this will teach someone not to chase the wrong type of person. If they are asking you questions about scams and schemes and pyramids and stuff like that, and they've already seen the opportunity, you've already showed them a picture into the opportunity, that's not the right person for your team. You'll identify really quickly who the right person is for your team. So we can't take everybody.
I'd rather have a team of 5 killers. I've seen teams of 5 and 10 do more business than agencies of 500.
Yeah.
Like throwing more bodies at the quantity is not going to solve all your problems. It's usually a what. It's usually not a what, but a who that you need. And it has to be an A player. I only want to work with killers and people coming in. Oh, like, my girlfriend cheated on me. I can't do this today. It's like, well, you're never going to do it. You might as well, like, I have no problem getting rid of people. How many of those hard conversations have you and your wife had to have with people on the team? Have you guys been fired? This week? Okay, perfect. Yeah. Some agency owners are scared to fire people. They're like, I'm going to lose a writer. It's like, you've already lost them.
I actually got some really good advice yesterday, because I think when you're on your way to become an agency owner, there's like really 2 main things that you're focusing on all the time. You're focusing on recruiting and you're focusing on production, and you got to find a good balance between that, because what you produce is who you recruit. Okay. A lot of agency owners out there want to get a little team and live off their overrides. It doesn't work. Okay. You got to produce your way there, because people are going to follow suit for you. and they're going to see what you're doing and the fruit that you're providing in your own life. And they're going to either do that or not. Right. So who do you want on your team? Do you want people who produce and get things done? Or do you want people that sit back and wait for overrides? I know who I want. I want a little bit of both. Right. So I think that, I think that's huge. You got to juggle those two things. The third thing that a lot of people don't think about, Mason, is you got to identify trends. You got to like early on too, because a lot of the trends that'll happen in your business that will plague your business are trends that you created because you're not there yet. You haven't seen things from the top yet. You haven't experienced 3 years of loss yet.
You don't have
You don't have
perspective, which is
perspective.
what a coach
Exactly.
has.
So
You need other people to look at your problem with a fresh set of eyes. People who have already ran the Olympic race and won a gold medal over here. Let's just have them come over here and run it.
Yep. Yeah, you got to be able to identify trends because they'll eat you alive. Like having a bad producer on your team, someone that writes not so great business, that's an easy trend to identify. You're going to see it on your issue paid report at the end of the month. You got to find the trends that are not easy to identify. And a lot of that has to do with personal growth. You got to look back at yourself and be like, how did I impact this?
It's identity and standards. Let me explain this in a very third grade simplified way. It's like who you are right now, or I'll use myself as an example because I was hiring every single person I could. I was listening to my uplines. I was showing up to the morning calls. I was buying the leads. I was being a good boy. I was staying near the campfire.
Good boy, Mason.
I was being a good boy. I was fetching the stick, but then I realized I wasn't a fucking dog. So I was just hiring everybody. And I was like, oh, this person's writing $2,000 a month. Awesome. This person's writing one policy a month and it's on family. Awesome. And I started bringing people in. It was like, oh, like this is cancer and cancer spreads. But it's like Mason back then wasn't good enough to recognize that stuff. I was not capable of solving those problems. Mason today is, but it's like, I had to kill off that little bitch version inside of me and I just made a post about this like a couple days ago because I just moved to Texas. I'm all settled in, but it's like there's been a couple chapters of life where I've had to kill off who I was, and it's a very sad thing because I love myself as a person, and it's like, damn, things were just getting good, dude. I was just getting to start to enjoy things, but it was like God was like, I have something different planned for you now. I need you to go over here and pivot. It's like, are you serious, man? It's like, I just got here and moved in. Can I not enjoy it for like a month? He's like, not if you want to impress me. Not if you want to show me the beauty of my own creation. It's like, fuck. It's like, all right, Mason, it's time for you to die.
Yeah.
But now that sounds sadistic.
No, you got to give a funeral to the things that don't have weight in your life anymore. You got to do that sometimes.
But it's like who I was 2 days ago is not a person capable of solving what I want to for the next 10 years. And so it's like, I'll kind of give you a brief snapshot of what I'm doing in the next 10 years. I plan on building a virtually interactive software based on communication, but it's going to be called Mouthmaticians. Instead of mathematicians, you always know how to solve mathematical problems. You're going to be a mouthmatician and you're always going to know what to say. Think of how many marriages that's going to save, how many best friends that's going to keep around, how many more sales you're going to make if you always know what to say and how to say it. So that's really what I'm focused on in the next 10 years. I think communication is a fundamental issue across the whole globe that is fucking broken. Yeah. People don't know how to communicate and they don't have the depth of perception, like you said, to actually read between the lines and understand. And I'm going to teach dudes how to speak womanese. When a girl says like, oh, I'm not hungry, I'm going to teach you, get that girl some fucking food. And she's lying to you.
I knew this was going to be fun, man. One of my main like compelling, like one of the philosophies I live off of for winning is loving people, Mason. Like you got to love on people. And I think that has a lot to do with your communication with them. Think about like the two different things that we want in our business. We want good people on our team. We want to build a team of great people. You cannot be a 5 on a team of 10s. And that doesn't always mean you need to get rid of your 5s. Sometimes they just need a little bit of coaching. But like you just said right before that, sometimes you need to get rid of your 5s.
Because what that does is so beautiful. Like I'm a suffering sadistic. You can't just say, "Hey, Mason, let's go work out today." Like, no, get your fucking lazy ass up. Let's go lift some damn weights. Like, we're
Yeah.
being a bitch. Like, I just have to talk to myself in a very crazy way. But it's like when you start trimming the fat at the bottom, everyone else gets scared. It's like,
Mm,
am I going to lose my job? And they start raising their standards. It's like, well, I don't want to get cut like Jose did. I don't want to get fired like Ashley did.
mm. Well, it's about loving on people enough not to let them be crappy. Like, I'm not going to be the friend that ever lets you be comfortable. And Mason, actually, I'll be fully transparent. But the first video I saw, the first like Facebook video I saw of you, I was like, this guy and I are not going to get along. And, and it's so funny because like now here we are now. You said we're Facebook friends. We really are. We support each other like on a daily basis. And I know and the reason why I do that is because you love on people really well. And part of loving on people is that you don't accept a crappy standard. You cannot do that. You're not loving
Right.
on people the right way if you accept their crap. That's
That's why lazy people and fat people and all like people who don't have standards with their life are very intimidated by me. I
hmm.
get told this all the time.
Yep.
Like, Mason, go jump off a bridge. I hope you wreck, you bald fucking die. It's crazy stuff. But then they're like, once they get like indoctrinated, because I'm very articulate as a person, I know how to get people to believe and feel what I want them to believe and feel. That's a matter of communication. Once they understand that it's just I'm very ruthless and intolerant of anything below excellence. And once they see and understand, like, yeah, he's a dick, but he does care. Like he has a heart. And it's funny because I was dating a girl for like a month, and she broke up with me, and it was like, okay, see ya. But she was like, "You're too much like Klaus Michelson." I was like, "Who the fuck is Klaus?" So I researched who Klaus Michelson was, and I came across this show called The Vampire Diaries in the originals. And it's like, for all the girls out there, I'm sure you know who that is. But it's like I went back and I watched this show, and I watched the plot and the character progression, the hero's journey of this dude called Klaus, the big bad wolf. And I was like, pretty spot on summary. Everyone thinks he's this fucking evil dude, but it's really just because he loves ferociously,
Hmm.
and he must be respected.
Yeah.
Like he does not tolerate disrespect, and if it means like killing someone he loves, he'll fucking do it to like prove a point. But it was a pretty spot on point. But it's like I just love people,
Yeah.
and I don't want them to get up at the end of their movie when they exit stage left. I don't want them to get in front of God and he's going to say, "Here's everything you could have been,
Mm,
and here's what you are."
mm.
Because then you're just going to live with fucking regret. And I don't want that for people. But it's
Yeah.
like, it's up to you. It's truly up to
Mhm.
you. I can't want more for you than you want for yourself, but I
Regret
do.
regret is generational, man. I think that like go back to the beginning of our conversations. What are we going to give our kids? I want to show them that I left no regret, that I left nothing on the field. I want to show them that I had no regrets because I went after everything I wanted. I held people to a standard around me. I mean, you're an accumulation. We all hear this. You're an accumulation of who you surround yourself with. So if you allow fives to be your friends, sorry, you might have to put a funeral to that too. You might
Yeah,
have.
birds of the feather fucking flock together. It's like I
Yeah,
love some of my best friends back home, but they're not entrepreneurs. I'll
yeah.
keep one of my best friends and I'll still have conversations with them, but I had to cut every single other relationship off. I had to cut my family off. I had to get away from that town.
I don't know if you knew this. My best friend in the whole world, his name's Mason. So great name.
It is a
Great,
great name.
great name.
And I saw a Masonic lodge right down the road from me. I might go get into that. I might build like a secret division of my
No, no,
mathematics company called like 34th degree Masons. It's the level above 33rd.
I think that's a
So,
cult.
well, everything is kind of a cult. Your symmetry has their own cult of people who are, and I was in it. FFL has their own cult.
Mm,
Granted, there's some shady shit going on. I've heard of people at the top getting girls to sign NDAs to suck their wee-wees, and it's some crazy shit. AIL has a cult. Every church is a cult. But it's just like they follow that set of beliefs. And
mm.
funnily enough, I'm near Waco, where a crazy cult was. So Marvin Heemeyer, the Killdozer, and I forget, what's his name? The dude who had that David Hirschmeyer, I forget the dude's name, but I'm near Waco, Texas, where all that shit, crazy shit happened. And FBI is things are crazy over here in Texas. I've already saw like someone on 3 pop tires running from the cops in the town over. I was like,
Are you enjoying it there? Do you like it?
dude, I love it. And
Yeah,
the people are
good.
so nice. It's like
Yeah.
the culture over here. They'll still shoot you, but it's like it's so cool to actually have communication with real humans. Because when I went back home in Kentucky, if you walked in front of a girl's video camera at the gym, she'd give you like a side eye. It's like, bitch, this is a public space.
I
But
just
it's like people here, it's like, hey, how are you? I like the beard. Nice shirt.
Yeah.
And there's real
I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. There's something different about the South. We just moved from Louisiana, like I said, and I'm glad I moved to Buffalo. Man, and for anyone who doesn't know where Buffalo, New York is, like get up here. It's gorgeous. City of good neighbors. But man, that Southern hospitality, there's nothing like it. It's good.
No, I love it. And I stopped by a bar. It's probably the first time in 2 years that I've been to a bar over here, and just to like see the nightlife and the environment. And it's like I had all these girls in cowboy hats and like spurs on the back of their boots. Like, you want to dance, darling? It's like, not really, but yeah, I just wanted to come check this place out. Like, we can go play pool or we can go do something else, but I'm not dancing.
You got yourself a pair of cowboy boots yet?
Yeah, I've got some shit kickers just for when the yard's messy, but it's like I'm kind of a homebody now. So I just stay home and work, and people don't understand that. But it's like I want to build cool shit. I've always built things in my life, and I think that's what God really loves about me. I know that's what God really loves about me is I'm trying to build things for other people to enjoy. I'm trying to solve problems for other people. So shameless plug, go to anywhere of my socials or click the first link in the comments below. You're going to see a Mithkey. It's the most incredible free gift ever. And I promise you, if you follow the fucking path on there, there's no reason why you should not issue pay $250,000 over the next 12 months. I know it's doing more than you do now. And even if you do more than that, follow my business model because it's sustainable and it'll have you out of the field in less than 2 years. Which means you can work on the business, not in it. Like, how crazy is that? And it's free for the first month. Then it's $97. You were going to spend $97 in the next 2 dates to Applebee's. You were going to spend $97 at the bar this fucking Friday. You were going to spend $97 on bullshit Netflix subscriptions over the next year. Just invest in yourself. So shameless plug. People tell me not to plug stuff on here. Have you ever heard of a marketer or an advertiser not telling people what they sell?
Plug it up. Yeah, absolutely.
It's so stupid. And Scott, where can people follow you at, man? Where can people, if they want to reach out to you to be a part of your team, you are one of the very few people after our conversation. I'd love to get you and your wife on here together, maybe interview your wife. I'd love to interview you guys together. But where can people, if they're interested in joining your team, where can they go to do that? Because I think you guys have set I'm very strict now with who I bring on here and who I associate myself and my brand with. But I have no problem recommending people to your team, even though I don't care for the leads at the company you guys are with. But they can get my coaching and go to your agency and blow everyone else out in the water. And they're going to say, what are you doing with leads? They're going to say, oh, I'm following Mason VanMeter system, the dickhead that you don't like. They're like, oh,
we want people that their style of winning is that they find a way to win. And so anyone who wants to find a way to win, you can just search my first and last name on Instagram. It's Scott Schnitzer with an underscore right after that. I'm easy to find on Facebook. That's usually the best way. But I appreciate that. I received that. And yeah, we're building a cool team. So, we're definitely.
How many people do you have on your team now?
My dog's drinking right behind me.
We have 25 riders right now. You said how many?
25 riders right now.
25. And are you guys averaging like around 120, 130,000 a month, something like that then?
Yeah. Last month was 185,000. This month should be close. We had a 5-week month. Everyone forgets to mention that when they talk about their results. We had a 5-week month. So we got favored on the calendar, but that we should not ever go down from that. It's going to be
so good. Stuff will carry over. And what is like one of the biggest bottlenecks you guys have, or like what is maybe one of the biggest constraints you have right now as an agency owner in your business? Like what do you think is And I'd like to challenge you. So what's your goal for the next like 5 years?
Yeah. We want to grow 130s, right? We want to make the big money. And I think that something you mentioned a few minutes ago is especially if you're brand new listening to this, if you want to make the big money, you have to grow an agency. Okay. You can't have your money tied to your
Long
feet.
term, absolutely. You're not going to want to be an agent for 10 years
Yeah.
and be that. No, you need
Yeah.
a team.
Because your money will be tied to your feet. If you want to take a vacation with your family, you get back in, your bank account's like, you're like, oh, I got to get back to work. If you build a big agency, you want to take a vacation with your family, you come back and your bank account's bigger. Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
Um,
one of my favorite things is waking up every morning, seeing my Stripe account. It's like,
yeah.
made money before I even got out of bed.
Yes. Yes. And we get paid throughout the day. I'm sure you remember this from working with Symmetry.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I could probably look at my Chase account right now. There's been 3 or 4 deposits this morning, but anyways, I digress. The goal in the next couple of years, we want 5 130s in the next 5 years. I think that's totally attainable.
What is that going to do for you, though? What is that going to do for you and your wife?
It's gonna change the game from us for how much impact we can make on people, but also like we're growing a family right now. Like my kid's not gonna see the struggle that we've gone through in the last 2 years to get to where we are now. There's gonna be another level of struggle over the next 3 to 5. But my kid's gonna come into a world where we get to do what we want with our time. Dad gets to homeschool if he wants to. All this
Definitely
stuff.
would.
That's huge to me. I don't want to put my kids in public school. For you who have your
No,
kids,
so they can go learn from drag queens and
you
watch
know,
people twerk. It's like, fuck little Timmy and his parents.
Mom, if you're watching this, Mason's a good guy, I promise. But no, I don't want to put my kids through public school. That's just one of my goals. Like I have these little goals that mean so freaking much to me, Mason. So to have the time freedom to do that, I think that there are levels to the time freedom game. And a lot of people think that they have time freedom. They make 200,000-300,000 a year. Imagine what 200,000-300,000 a month is going to do for your time freedom. Okay. So that's
So
where
around the 5 130s mark, is there like a financial aspect tied to that? How much do you guys think you'd be like bringing home a year if you had 5 130s?
that's probably going to be anywhere from 2 to 4 million a year.
2 to 4 million a year. Okay. Why don't you 10x that?
Yeah.
No, I'm serious because like I like you as a person a lot, seriously. And I'd like to challenge you as a future friend. Why instead of 5 130s, why don't you 10x that somehow? Because here's the thing. And shorten the time frame. Instead of 3 to 5 years, make it over the next 12 months.
Mm.
Because what you have to do to 10x that and get like, let's say 25 130s, the decisions in the path that you're going to have to make are so much more narrower, which is actually going to be easier to hit, believe it or not. So if you're focused on getting 25 130s, what do you have to do different than what you're doing now? Because you're going to have to shave off 80% of the fat and make like 2 or 3 really solid decisions to make that happen. Just something for you to think about. And this comes from Benjamin Hardy. I heard him on this would be a good podcast for you to watch. I talked to him live over at Funnel Hacking Live the other week with Russell Brunson. I'm in a lot of his coaching stuff. But there is I've got it, and I'll actually mail you a copy, or you can get it off Amazon. 10x is easier than 2x. But it's like it makes you shave your identity. And after having a conversation with him, it made so much sense. I don't know why I never thought like this. And this is why I have coaches. I have paid almost $300,000 now in the last 2.5 years in personal development and coaching. But it's like it's 100x, 200x my income, and it's fucking stupid the amount of money I've made from it. But I'm not ungrateful to where I'll always give gratitude and thanks and honor to those who have walked the path before me. So thank you, Russell. Thank you, all of you, Nico, Tanner. The 10x path is easier than 2x because in order for you to 2x what you're doing right now, which kind of sounds like what you're trying to do, is like you have to do everything double. And you and your wife don't have enough time to do that, especially when you're bringing a little human into the world in the next couple months. But it's like in order for you to 10x, you have to shave off and you have to find what are a lot of the limiting factors. So it's like, what am I doing right now that's going to help me 2x? Let me cut that off and let me find the harder path that's more narrow, but it's going to help you 10x. And even if you don't 10x, what if you 5x? You still doubled your double. You still quadrupled your business. So I would challenge you and your wife to sit down and say, hey, and like screw the 3 to 5 130s. How do we get 25? How do we get 25 of them? Because you're going to 10x the impact. You're going to 10x the amount of money you guys make. But the path is so much more narrower.
Yeah.
And the quality of the decisions that you'll have to make, the quality of the people you'll have to become, I think you'll look back on this conversation a year from now and it's like, thank you. Like, this was awesome.
I appreciate that. I received that. I received that 100%. Challenge accepted. You know, that a lot of people will hear this, guys. If you're watching this right now and you're thinking, man, Scott's chewing on that one. I am. I am chewing on that statement that Mason just made. You should be chewing on it too.
It's definitely something for agents. It's something for everyone to think of, because even I had that like epiphany when I was so like the other week I was at Funnel Hacking Live. If you guys don't know what that is, it's Russell Brunson, owner of and founder of ClickFunnels. It's his live event, but like getting to talk to someone who's worth $1 billion, like one-on-one at Universal Studios before we go ride a fucking roller coaster, it's like, it's invaluable. It's so invaluable, the conversations you have. Like, I hung out with that Edward Verified guy for like 2 hours, talked to him. The conversations that I had from people who were making hundreds of millions of dollars, like, my mom can't have that conversation with me, even though I love her to death. But it's like, the caliber of those people, it's unreal. And I want to share what's like behind a paywall. I want to share that with the audience for free. So like 10x is actually easier than 2x.
Yeah.
Because it requires less work, just better decisions. This life is all about sacrifices and consequences and decisions.
Yep.
So, what can we do something special for the audience? Like, what could you and I and your wife collab on, put together as a training to give to agents, and maybe we'll funnel them into your agency as recruits or whatever. We'll do something, but
yeah, I just appreciate the time, man. And I think you've helped a lot of people today. Hopefully something I said have helped a lot of people today. I think we'll partner up on some things in the future. I want to leave this for anyone who's in that new phase of building out. Get very, very clear on what you want. Get very, very clear. Mason's already kind of broadening the horizon for what I want right now, right? I said 5 130s. He said, why not 25? Okay. For me to be able to get there, though, this conversation can't end here. Obviously, we know that there's going to take some vision and also some implementation for that to happen, right? If I'm struggling right now with bringing on another full-time staff member, like, why am I struggling with that if I have a 10x mentality, right? So I'm going to chew on that, but I want you guys who are new that are building out to chew on that as well. What do you want? When do you want it? What are you willing to do to get it? And what are you willing to go without to get it? These are all questions you can write down right now. Okay. And when are you going to get started? Because we could all play the should game. We could should till we should all over ourselves. Like, don't play that game with yourself. When are you going to get started? Okay. I could leave this call and not tell Kate that you challenged me to 10x our goal. Okay. Right. I could. She's going to watch this for sure. But man, I get clear on what you want. Follow those few things. What are you willing to go without for a few years or a few months? And then when are you going to get started, man?
And that's going to be the hardest part for people, is sacrificing. Because trust me, I love playing zombies on Xbox. I wish I could spend all day doing that and stream and make it. It's not what future me would do.
Yeah.
As much as I love it, I had to give it up. So think about what what you have to sacrifice, and if it's not worth it to you long term, don't do it. But for the people who want to honor God and honor themselves and live a life of extraordinary means, like, this is a challenge for you as well.
Everyone watching this was built for that. Everyone watching this was built for that. So you just got to unlock it.
So no, dude, you guys go thank Scott in the comments. Go follow him. Go blow him up with questions. See what you guys can do. Me and Scott are going to build something cool for you guys, though, or do some behind the scenes interview. Maybe something around how he became an agency owner or what he does. We'll find something out. But I promise you, whatever it is, it'll be valuable and worth It'll be free and better than anybody else's paid shit out there as normal. If you know me, I over deliver. So, Scott, if you got anything you want to close out with, man, I'll let you close it down.
Let's go get it. Q4.
All right, let's fucking go. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Happy hustling, party person.